Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to another Madden 25 Next Gen online game. Today we have the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Superchargers, and those fans will be singing all day and all night long after yesterday, and after the past 2 weeks, because I want to talk about the Chargers first, but the bet for the Chargers to take to get the final wildcard spot has to be explained from since 2 weeks ago. You're talking about Baltimore or Miami wins the week before. The Chargers are eliminated as 4th and 1. We run this pitch back play and get it. But yeah, they're eliminated 2 weeks ago. But both those teams lose against the Bills and the Patriots respectively. So that keeps the Chargers alive as well as the Steelers. So now you move on to the Baltimore team. They play Cincinnati and they just look bad. You know, the Ravens did what I thought they would do. They made Andy Dalton turn the ball over a lot. Not that much times, 4 times. I didn't expect that much, but they forced Dalton into a lot of turnovers. But they couldn't do anything with it. And it's also what I kind of expected. You know, the Ravens offense just cannot move the ball down the field to score. They couldn't even move the ball early on when they got good field position from Dalton interceptions. They only got 3 points both times. And you know, that's their Achilles heel. That's why they're not making the playoffs this year, because they just could not move the ball down the length of the field to get touchdowns. And, you know, relying on Justin Tucker was only going to get you so much. You can't rely on your kicker to win you a championship like that. That's not how the NFL works. Not in the modern era NFL. You need touchdowns, man, like Peyton Manning gets. By the way, shout out to Peyton Manning. 55 touchdowns. The passing record by 1 yard. That's a little bit, like, cheesy. Like, you know, just hop in there, get that touchdown. You know what? Passing record, I'm out of here. I'm done for the game, but, still, shout out to Peyton Manning. One of the best seasons. I don't want to say the best season ever by quarterback, because, you know, it's arguably the best season ever by quarterback, but easily one of, like, the top 5 best quarterback seasons ever. Say all you want about the weapons he had, but Manning did his thing. That's why he's going to win MVP and all the awards he could possibly win. But back to the Chargers, Pat. And one of the things they did was they beat Peyton Manning's Broncos in Denver for, I believe, the Broncos' only home loss of the season. So they did that, and you know, the schedule looked tough, but they hung in there. And the next thing, after Baltimore lost, they screwed up. You needed Miami to lose. And Miami probably had the easier path. They had to beat the Jets, a team that they completely mollywopped like a few weeks ago. Geno looked horrific in that game. But, you know, I had a feeling. You know, you hear grumblings before the game that, yo, Rex is staying in the game. He's staying in his job next year, this and that. And, you know, you kind of feel the excitement in the Jets. Like, yeah, we're going to go beat the Dolphins here. We're going to play David versus Goliath here and end their season. Cromartie was like, our season's over after today. We want theirs to be over too. And that's what the Jets did. But the thing is, the Dolphins had a chance to put the Jets away. They were up 7-0, and Tannehill had Mike Wallace deep. And they missed that throw, kept the Jets in the game, and the Jets eventually turned that game around. And, you know, Tannehill, after looking good for pretty much most of the season, he didn't end the season well, that's for sure. Now, you know, he definitely needs help in that offensive line. I can't put it all on Tannehill. That's one thing I hate to hear about, people putting it on the quarterback. You know, it's the same thing with Flacco. Flacco needs a better offensive line. The offensive line played horrific pretty much the entire season, too. They traded for, like, Earl Monroe, I think his name is some Monroe guy from the Jaguars, who didn't really help out much. In fact, he might have hurt the team, if anything. But, and plus, they trade that guy to the Dolphins, another offensive lineman to the Dolphins. I didn't trade McKinney to the Dolphins, and McKinney didn't really do much. So, you know, Dolphins, they needed help, and the Jets, they were just playing harder. That's what I saw. I saw a Jets team that was playing harder than the Dolphins on Sunday, and they ended up winning the game. You saw Geno, you know, trying to truck people into the end zone and stuff like that. You saw halfback passes. Shout out to them and shout out to the Bucs for running a flea flicker. But now they just play harder. So now you got that. And now for the Chargers, it didn't really matter what the Steelers did. Once those two teams lost, that meant the Chargers controlled their own destiny. So even though the Steelers completely whooped the Browns there, not even close in that game, which you would kind of expect there, they stayed in the game. They won the game, but you know they had a scoreboard watch now. That they did what they had to do, and they got 2 out of 3 things they needed. But you know, now you go to the Chargers game, and the Chargers, there's so much that led into that game. Then you get to the game itself, the way it went down, playing against second and third string players of the Chiefs. I believe I heard that 20 to 22 starters on the Chiefs did not play on Sunday. You're going against Chase Daniels and Niles Davis and all these kind of random ass players, and you go down early in the game, and you're down 14 points in like the fourth quarter. And it's like, really? You guys want to make the playoffs? You guys definitely don't deserve to make the playoffs. And You know, eventually they came back, they got a touchdown, and then they got the ball near the goal line again with a chance to take the lead, and they couldn't convert. They ended up settling for a field goal, and you're like, that might cost them. And that's one thing that cost them the Redskins game, and looked like it was going to cost them a shot at the playoffs, that they couldn't get into the end zone there at a critical time. Again, second and third string Chief players. And by the way, shout out to Andy Reid for what he did with that team. A lot of people are trying to take away Coach of the Year from Andy Reid since, you know, the Chiefs fell off lately, but with those players, you know, that was a lot of, you know, scheme over team, as iMaverick would say. You know, picking the scheme over the team. That was scheme over team in that game. And that's what the Chiefs did. They had the Chargers, even with, you know, less talented players on the field. Though the Chargers defense, oh God, they are not going to survive in the playoffs with that defense at all. At all. It's not looking good for them. But, you know, they eventually come back, and the Chiefs get in the field goal range because that bad Chargers defense. They actually allowed the Chiefs to get all the way into field goal range, and then they have a chance to win the game, and Ryan Suckup misses the field goal that would have sent the Steelers into the playoffs. But you know, there should have been a penalty on that, as everybody's probably seen by now. There was a penalty. This should have been called penalty on the alignment of the Chargers defense on the field goal attempt. So, you know, the refs missed it, as they've been doing all year, missing a lot of bad stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things you can write up. You know, refs have a hard job, but, I mean, come on, refs. But, so yeah, now they eventually get in the playoffs because of that. They get ball first, and they go 3 and out, only to run a fake punt that Mike McCoy didn't even call. He didn't even call the fake punt. Apparently, Eric Weddle just, you know, was like, give me the damn ball. And for all intents and purposes, he lost the ball. There was a fumble in the middle of that pile, but the refs blew it dead. Even though the pile was moving forward, the refs still called the play dead, and, you know, they called it dead after San Diego was pushed for a first down. Then they decided, you know what, let's call it dead. Even though, you know, someone just took the ball out of Weddle's hands back for a touchdown, that should have ended the game. Instead, now, the Chargers keep the ball, but once again, they don't score. And you're like, all right, this time it's going to screw them. They only got the field goal. Though, yet again, you got to go against a Chiefs offense that isn't exactly Alex Smith and Jamal Charles out there, or Dwayne Bowen on them. So, Chiefs offense comes out, and eventually they get near field goal range. And on 4th and 12, it was like a 54-yard field goal attempt or something like that. And they went for it instead of trusting Suckup on 4th and 14. I don't know how the hell you do that, but they did it anyways. And as you could tell, it cost them. You know, that was one of the worst plays ever. Chase Daniel runs like 5 yards past the line of scrimmage and just like, you know, I'm going to throw it. Funny thing is, he might have been able to run it in for a first down. But he's like, you know, hold on, I got to throw this thing real quick. Doesn't even throw it to a receiver, too. He just throws it in the middle of nowhere. And it's like, really? That's the way the cookie crumbles? Okay. And so now the Chargers are in the playoffs because of that. And they're going on the road to a Cincinnati team that hasn't lost at home yet this season. How are you supposed to bet on the Chargers? And you're thinking, oh, what about the Seahawks from a few years ago? They had a losing record and they beat the Saints. Well, they had the 12th man. The Chargers are playing, you know, in Cincinnati against a Bengals team that is very efficient offensively in Cincinnati, as we throw a bad pick here. Up 7. This is where everything fell apart for me. I mean, I was running the ball well, and that's what I should have kept on doing. I should have ran the ball instead. Eric Berry made a hell of a ball hawk in that, and unfortunately, I couldn't ball hawk that. I jumped the screen there. I just couldn't get my arms out there enough. That's one thing I struggle with. My dudes were like they were like baby T-Rexing, trying to get those arms out there, like Eric Weddle did earlier on one of those Jamal Charles catches, and that was just, you know, costing us, allowing him to come back in the game as he eventually gets this touchdown here to McCluster. So yeah, Chargers are in the playoffs now. God only knows how. For the NFC, you know, there was a lot of great games in there. There's 2 great championship games to play. First of all, fortunately, the Cardinals couldn't make the playoffs because they had a great season, but you know, they couldn't beat the Niners, and eventually it didn't even matter because the Saints ended up beating the Bucks pretty well. And by the way, that fake field goal to the Bucks ran, what the hell was that, man? Like, really, people are still trying to figure out to this day what that fake field goal, whatever that was. It might have been a fake punt. I don't even know what that was about. But yeah. So now you got the Packers and the Bears. That game, the Bears had a chance to put it away early. Rodgers throws 2 interceptions, but they don't exactly put the game away. You keep Rodgers alive. He was rusty. He threw 2 interceptions, but you keep him in the game, and, you know, eventually you don't come out with the win. And even though, you know, Mike McCarthy makes the coaching blunder of the years, we throw a pick 6 here. Should have kept on running the ball. That's the reason why I eventually ended up losing this game. I just didn't run the ball when I needed to, you know. This play, I tried throwing in the middle of the field, and I throw an interception. Pretty much is the dagger. But, yeah, shit. The Bears game, yeah. So, you know, Mike McCarthy doesn't go for the 2-point conversion, and is still down by 1, which was going to end up costing the Packers a playoff spot. Instead, the Bears are forced to punt it to the Packers. When they could have just put the game away once more, but no one wanted to put the Packers away, and now everybody has to face Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, and the Bears still had a chance to put the game away on like the fourth downs, but they could not get them. And that's one of the funny things about the year. You fire Lovie Smith, who's a defensive specialist, and you hire Mark Trestman, who, for all purposes, he had a great season coaching in his rookie year. Did a lot of great things with that offense. You could say they had weapons, but he himself did a lot of great things, a lot of great scheming with that offense. But you don't convert fourth down, or don't get the Packers off on fourth down, and you lose the game. Great throw by that was just I said it before, like a few videos ago. 3 quarterbacks you never want to see lead the pocket: Tony Romo, Ben Roethlisberger, and Aaron Rodgers. And that's why Rodgers made a hell of a throw, planted his feet somehow with the pressure coming at him, and got that one off. So, now the Packers are in. But they play against the Niners team that has beaten them like the past 3 times they matched up. So it's not a good matchup for them, unfortunately, for Packer fans, because they, saw their team go to the playoffs only to unfortunately lose, probably, like the way we lost this game. Like I said, I should have ran the ball. Definitely. This is a loss I needed, though. I've been spending too much time trying to build up my MUT team, and I just haven't really been playing much ranked games like this. And even like playing against subscribers who aren't exactly that good, I keep them in the game because I'm just so damn rusty, especially passing the ball. So I needed this loss. Shout out to this guy. He played a good game. I haven't really been playing much like great people on the Xbox One. This guy was pretty good. But yeah, one more thing before I get off. The Eagles and Cowboys game. That game, it looked like the Eagles were going to blow it. It looked like the Cowboys were going to win it. Refs were definitely doing their part to help out. Can't hide that. And then, the one time the clock resets, Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth flipped their shit because they were definitely rooting for the Cowboys to win that game. They flipped their shit, but eventually Dallas does score. But, I think one thing that did cost them the game was Kyle Orton and Des Bryant didn't have enough practice time. Every single time Orton threw to Bryant, besides that fourth down that went for a touchdown, they were just off. So if they had that connection, maybe they work it out. Maybe they don't have to settle for like 4 field goals in the game. The Eagles themselves, they look, they didn't look that great. Nick Foles definitely looked not good at all on the blitz. Didn't respond well at all to the blitz. Whenever pressure came, he just tucked the ball and was like, all right, I'm probably gonna take a sack here. Shit. But nonetheless, the Eagles are still dangerous in the playoffs. They might figure that out. And if they do figure that out, how do make sure Nick Foles doesn't panic in the playoffs, against pressure in the playoffs? They could get things going because Rob Ryan is definitely going to be bringing pressure. He's definitely going to be trying to do anything he can to stop that Chip Kelly offense. So that's going to be great to watch. But who knows? But on to the playoffs, man. Can't wait for these playoffs to start. After that was one of the best Sundays in a while, as far as Week 17 especially, that we've seen, with so much on the line, so many great games, so many, plot twists and stuff like that. So, on to the playoffs. So, on that note, hope you guys leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more Madden 25 online games, and I will catch you guys next time.